The Sol system had always been quiet, a small cluster of planets circling an ordinary star. For centuries, humans had looked up at the stars and wondered what else existed. They built ships, not as weapons, but as tools of curiosity. Slowly, methodically, humanity learned to leave their solar system and travel further than anyone had imagined. On the outer edge of the Milky Way, the first human exploration fleet emerged from hyperspace. Their ships were simple but clever, built for efficiency and survival. The fleet spread out, scanning uncharted systems, searching for planets with signs of life. Humans had no desire for conquest. They sought knowledge, opportunity, and a chance to understand the universe around them. Far across the galaxy, alien civilizations noticed. The Kravans, a species with translucent skin and long, thin limbs, observed the human fleet from their orbital station. They had watched the galaxy for centuries and were used to seeing civilizations rise and fall. Yet something about humans caught their attention. Humans were young in cosmic terms. Their technology was not the most advanced, but their fleet moved with purpose. They adapted quickly to challenges and seemed fearless. "This is unusual," said Vorel, a Kravan commander, as he watched the human ships analyze a barren moon. "They should be slower. Their technology is primitive compared to ours." Another Kravan, a scholar named Iril, adjusted the observation lenses. "Primitive does not mean weak. Look at how they handle that asteroid field. They respond faster than any recorded species at this stage." The Kravans had never encountered a species like humans. Other civilizations in the galaxy grew slowly, following strict rules and traditions. They valued stability over speed and calculation over imagination. Humans ignored these limits. They solved problems others had struggled with for generations. On one of the human ships, Captain Nira checked the navigation console. She smiled as her crew worked together, fixing minor system issues with a mix of skill and creativity. Humans had a unique approach to problems. They did not always follow a plan. Instead, they experimented, tested, failed, and tried again. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it did not, but when it worked better than anyone could imagine. The Kravans were growing uneasy. They communicated quietly with other species, sending messages of caution. "Observe," Vorel said. "Do not interfere yet. But prepare. This species may change everything." Meanwhile, humans reached a neutral planet, a world rich with forests, rivers, and towering mountains. They landed carefully, sending out small teams to explore the surface. Their scanners detected nothing hostile. They began studying the environment, taking samples, learning about the planet's composition, climate, and life forms. Humans were careful. They respected life in every form. Even when encountering strange plants or harmless animals, they documented everything without disturbing the ecosystem. Their curiosity was honest, pure, and careful. In the capital city of the planet, aliens watched from a distance. They had lived there for thousands of years. When humans arrived, the aliens expected fear, confusion, or even hostility. Instead, humans approached with calm, slow movements. They did not demand territory or resources. They asked questions. They shared knowledge about their world and their technology. The aliens whispered among themselves. "Who are these beings?" one asked. "Why do they act without fear or greed?" Humans continued to explore, sending reports back to Earth. They described the stars, the planets, and even small details like the patterns of rainfall and the songs of native birds. Every observation was a story, every discovery a bridge to understanding. Back on the Kravan station, Vorel spoke again. "They are not like the others. They adapt, they survive, and they learn faster than expected. If this continues, they will be more than a curiosity. They may be a force we cannot control." Iril nodded. "We must continue to watch." Humanity does not seek power. Yet their presence alone changes the balance. The galaxy may not be ready for what is coming. Captain Nero watched her crew from the bridge. She felt a mix of pride and excitement. Humanity had always dreamed of reaching the stars. Now they were here, not as conquerors, but as explorers. She wondered what other civilizations they would meet, what new ideas they would encounter, and how humans would grow in this vast, ancient galaxy. The stars stretched endlessly around them, full of possibilities. For the first time, humans understood the true scale of the universe. And far beyond, in the shadows of distant systems, the galaxy began to notice. Humanity had arrived, and their journey had only just begun. The humans had been on the neutral planet for several days. Their small camps were clean and organized. Teams worked in harmony, studying the forests and rivers, recording every detail. Captain Nero led her crew with calm confidence. They moved carefully, aware that they were visitors in a world that was not theirs. In a nearby city, the aliens watched silently. Their tall towers and glass domes reflected the sunlight. The aliens were cautious. Visitors had come before, but none had behaved like humans. Humans did not demand territory or food. They did not use weapons or shout commands. They walked slowly, observed, and asked questions with gentle curiosity. The city council sent a delegation to meet the humans. They wore long robes and carried devices to translate their language. Humans did not know what to expect. They had studied alien communication from distant transmissions, but direct interaction was new. Captain Nero greeted the aliens with a nod and a smile. Her crew followed quietly. The leader of the delegation, a being named Thaler, spoke first. His voice was calm, measured. "We have watched your arrival. You come from far away. Tell us, why have you come to our world?" Captain Nero responded without hesitation. "We come to learn. We do not seek conflict or control. We want to understand your world, your life, and your knowledge. We hope to share what we have learned as well." The aliens exchanged looks. None had spoken like this before. Their species valued strict hierarchy and cautious speech. Humans seemed fearless but respectful. They spoke plainly, clearly, and with honesty. Thaler raised an eyebrow. "You do not ask for our resources. You do not claim our land. You wish only to observe and learn." "Yes," Nero said. "We respect life in all forms. We do not take what is not freely given. We want friendship, understanding, and knowledge." The council considered this carefully. Finally, they nodded. "We will allow you to explore. But you must follow our rules. You are guests on our planet." Humans agreed without complaint. Their desire to cooperate impressed the aliens. Small teams were formed to study local plants, animals, and geology. Humans moved through forests, climbed mountains, and floated along rivers in small craft. They took notes, recorded sounds, and drew sketches. Every action was careful and precise. One human, a scientist named Rena, discovered a strange plant with glowing leaves. She studied it carefully, taking samples and observing its reaction to sunlight. A small alien child approached, curious. Rena smiled and offered the child a drawing of the plant. The child laughed and pointed at Rena's notes, fascinated by the colors and shapes. Captain Nero observed from a distance. Humans had a way of connecting with beings unlike themselves. They did not fear differences. They welcomed them. The aliens began to see humans not as strangers, but as friends. However, far beyond the planet, the caravans continued to watch. Commander Vorel and Scholar Irel communicated urgently with other species. "They come without threat," Vorel said, "yet they change everything. Observe how quickly they learn. See how easily they adapt. This is not normal." Irel nodded. "They are young, Yet their understanding grows faster than any species in history. If they continue, they will reach power we cannot predict. We must continue to monitor them closely. Meanwhile, humans discovered small ruins on the edge of the forest. They were old, built from stones that shone faintly in the sunlight. Rena and her team examined the carvings carefully. "These are very old," she said. "Long before any civilization we have studied. Someone lived here and understood more than we know." The aliens who accompanied them were cautious. "These ruins are sacred," Thaler warned. "They belong to our ancestors. You may study, but do not touch." Humans agreed. They observed without disturbance. They asked questions respectfully, trying to understand the purpose of each symbol, each structure. Their curiosity did not come with greed. It came with respect. Over the next days, the humans and aliens grew more comfortable together. They shared ideas about science, art, and culture. Humans spoke of Earth, its oceans, mountains, and cities. They described their history, the struggles they had faced, and the lessons they had learned. The aliens shared their own stories, their ways of life, and their understanding of the universe. Captain Nero felt hope. Humans had arrived in a galaxy full of ancient civilizations. Some of these civilizations might fear them. Some might challenge them. Yet here, on this small planet, humans had shown that they could build trust and friendship through respect and honesty. High above, the Kravans watched with concern. "Do not be fooled," Vorel said. "They seem peaceful, but their growth is faster than we expected. We may not be able to stop them once they understand the galaxy fully." Iril looked at the fleet moving among the stars. "We cannot interfere now. But we must be ready. Humanity will not remain small forever." On the planet, the humans continued their work. They explored, learned, and shared. They laughed with the aliens, solved problems together, and discovered wonders they had never imagined. The galaxy had noticed humanity's arrival, but the humans themselves did not yet realize the full impact they would have. They only knew that they had taken the first step into a much larger universe. The stars above glowed brightly. Humanity was here, curious and respectful, unaware of the tension growing across the galaxy. Their journey had begun, and the first contact was only the start of a story that would change everything. Humanity had been on the neutral planet for weeks. The humans had learned much about the local species, and in return, they shared knowledge of Earth science and history. Captain Nero felt a quiet pride. Her crew worked with energy and focus. They solved problems quickly, adapted to challenges, and always treated others with respect. But the galaxy was not always kind to new arrivals. Word of humans spread slowly through the stars. Ancient civilizations took notice. The humans were young, but they were growing fast. Their ability to learn, to adapt, and to act in unexpected ways made some of the oldest species uneasy. A distant council of star empires decided to test the humans. They sent a message to Captain Nera. "If your species wishes to remain in this region," the message said, "you must prove your worth. Solve the challenge we will present. Failure may force us to remove you." Nera read the message aloud to her crew. There was no anger in her voice, only curiosity. "A challenge," she said. "We will accept it. Let us see what they want." The council's instructions arrived in the form of a simulation. Humans were asked to navigate a vast asteroid field, rescue stranded ships, and return with critical data. The simulation was designed to test speed, strategy, and coordination. Many older civilizations had failed the challenge. Many believed the humans would fail as well. The crew studied the simulation carefully. They discussed possibilities, shared ideas, and practiced strategies. Humans did not always follow the rules as expected. Instead, they thought creatively, finding solutions that were unusual but effective. They modified their ships to handle the asteroids better and built small drones to scout ahead. The first trial began. The human fleet moved with precision. Drones scanned the asteroid paths, avoiding collisions. Pilots adjusted their routes in real time. They rescued stranded ships using grappling hooks and small energy shields. Each human acted with purpose, but also with flexibility. When something did not work, they tried another approach. Across the galaxy, alien observers were stunned. How do they adapt so fast? One of the Kravans asked. They are not the fastest, the strongest, or the oldest. Yet they succeed where others fail. Inside the simulation, humans discovered a new problem. A group of asteroids began moving unpredictably, blocking their path. Older civilizations would have paused, waiting for instructions or more data. Humans acted immediately. They launched small probes that adjusted the asteroid path slightly, creating a safe corridor. The rescue continued without delay. Captain Nero watched her crew from the bridge. Her eyes were steady. Her hands moved across the control panel with calm precision. "Stay focused," she said. "Trust each other. Keep moving forward." By the end of the simulation, every stranded ship had been rescued, and the data had been safely returned. The humans had solved the challenge using a combination of creativity, courage, and cooperation. They did not rely on raw power or ancient technology. They relied on quick thinking, trust, and adaptation. The galaxy's observers could not hide their astonishment. Many had believed humans would be easily defeated. Many had underestimated the young species. But the humans had succeeded in ways that no one expected. Back on the neutral planet, the local aliens came to congratulate the humans. They had watched the humans solve the challenge with admiration. "You have done what others could not," Thaler said. "Your skill is remarkable, but it is your mind that impresses us most. You do not fear the unknown, and you find solutions where others see obstacles." Captain Nero smiled. "We are grateful for your guidance and patience. We learn from every world we visit. We hope our actions show respect and understanding." Even as humans celebrated, the Kravans continued to send warnings. "They are young, yet their problem-solving exceeds what we expected. Their ability to adapt is dangerous. If they continue at this rate, the galaxy may not be able to contain them." Iril, the Kravan scholar, nodded. "Observe closely. Their growth is not only rapid, it is unpredictable. They do not follow patterns. They create patterns as they go. That is why they succeed where others fail." For humans, the challenge was more than a test. It was an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to demonstrate what they could achieve together. They celebrated quietly, knowing that teamwork and respect had brought success. The crew felt stronger, closer, and more ready for the unknown challenges ahead. Captain Nero looked at the stars. The galaxy was vast, full of civilizations older than humanity. Some would welcome humans. Others would fear them. But no matter the response, humans were ready to explore, to learn, and to prove that their courage, creativity, and unity could overcome any obstacle. The stars stretched endlessly around them, each one a new possibility. Humanity had passed its first test in the galaxy. The challenge had shown them what they were capable of and hinted at what they could achieve next. And far beyond, the ancient civilizations watched, realizing that humans were not just visitors. They were a force to be reckoned with. News of humanity's success in the challenge spread quickly. Across the galaxy, older civilizations whispered of the young species that solved impossible problems. Some were curious, while others grew uneasy. The Kravans were among the most concerned. Their scouts had tracked every human movement, and their analysts had studied human strategies. "This is no longer a simple curiosity," Commander Vorel said, pacing before a large display showing human fleets moving among the stars. "They adapt faster than anyone predicted. Their problem-solving exceeds any known species. If they continue at this rate, they could become unstoppable." Iril, The Kravan scholar adjusted his focus. They do not fight like others. They do not rely on sheer strength or overwhelming numbers. They learn, they cooperate, and they innovate. The galaxy has never seen a species like this. They are unpredictable, and that is what makes them dangerous. On the neutral planet, humans continued their work. They had repaired old equipment in the alien cities, mapped surrounding star systems, and studied alien flora and fauna. Captain Nero watched her crew with pride. Every human acted with respect and care, yet their efficiency was unmatched. Humans could accomplish more in a day than many alien teams could in a week. One day, a small human scouting ship passed through a distant asteroid belt. Its sensors detected a supply convoy belonging to the Kravans. The humans did not interfere, but they collected information, studying the convoy's route, timing, and composition. Their goal was knowledge, not conflict. Far away, Kravan Command intercepted the observation. Panic spread among their leaders. "They are monitoring our fleets," Vorel said. "They are young, yet they can gather intelligence without being noticed. This is beyond our predictions." Irel's voice was calm but firm. "They are not our enemies yet. But we cannot ignore their capabilities. They learn too fast, they adapt too quickly, and they are growing too strong. We must prepare for what is coming." Back on the neutral planet, humans were unaware of the concern they had caused. They continued exploring, sharing their findings with the local aliens, and documenting every detail. One human, a scientist named Merrick, discovered an unusual energy source beneath the planet's surface. He and his team carefully studied it without disturbing the environment. Thaler, the Alien Council leader, watched the humans with amazement. "They respect life and knowledge in a way we have never seen. They do not take what is not given. They do not destroy what they do not understand. And yet, they are stronger and smarter than most of our species. It is unsettling." Captain Nero looked at the stars one evening. She felt a quiet excitement. Humans had arrived in the galaxy not as conquerors, but as explorers. They had made allies and learned new knowledge. Still, she sensed that the wider galaxy might not understand them as easily. Humans were different, and not everyone would welcome that difference. The Kravans held emergency meetings with other ancient civilizations. They shared reports of human ingenuity, their rapid learning, and their unique approach to challenges. "If we act too late," Vorel warned, "they will have already changed the balance of power. We must consider containment or control before it is too late." Some alien leaders dismissed the concerns, believing humans were harmless. Others agreed with the Kravans. Debates raged in council halls, starships, and distant stations. The galaxy had never faced a species that could grow so fast, adapt so quickly, and challenge long-established orders without aggression. Meanwhile, humans continued their peaceful exploration. They repaired alien machinery, studied ancient ruins, and solved environmental problems on the planet. Their actions impressed local species and built trust wherever they went. Humans believed in cooperation, innovation, and respect. Their presence changed small communities and inspired admiration. But even as humans shared knowledge and offered friendship, the Kravans and other observers prepared for a future where humans might not be so easily guided. "We must learn from them," Irel said. "Study their methods, understand their thinking. If we do not, we may face a force that cannot be controlled." On the neutral planet, Captain Nira gathered her crew one evening. "We are explorers, not warriors," she said. "We do not seek conflict. We learn, we observe, and we share knowledge. But we must remain aware. Not everyone will welcome us. Some may fear us, and some may try to stop us. We must be ready, but we must also stay true to who we are." The humans nodded, understanding their captain's words. They had faced challenges before and solved them with courage and ingenuity. Whatever the galaxy threw at them next, they knew they could face it together. Far above, in the shadows of distant systems, alien leaders continued to watch. They realized humanity was not ordinary. Their speed, adaptability, and intelligence made them a force that could not be ignored. The galaxy was beginning to recognize a truth that would soon become clear: humanity's arrival was only the beginning, and it was too late to stop what was coming. The humans had been exploring the neutral planet for months. They had learned about alien plants, animals, and ancient ruins. They had mapped nearby star systems and shared knowledge with the local inhabitants. Captain Nira's crew had grown confident, but they remained cautious. Far away, the Kravans and several other ancient civilizations had decided to test humans in their own way. They formed a coalition and secretly planned an attack on one of the human outposts. The coalition believed humans were clever, but they thought that numbers and advanced weapons would be enough to defeat them. On the outpost, humans were unaware of the approaching fleet. They were repairing communication arrays and studying a small alien river system. The outpost was simple but functional. Human engineers worked calmly, trusting their experience and teamwork. A scout ship detected the coalition fleet early. Merrick, the scientist, warned Captain Nira. Multiple ships approaching. They have weapons, shields, and advanced sensors. They could overwhelm us if we are not careful. Nira studied the data. We expected challenges, but we will face this with what we have. Prepare the crews. We will not flee. We will use our minds, our technology, and our teamwork. That is our strength. The coalition fleet arrived, assuming humans would panic. They fired warning shots, and some ships moved into attack positions. Humans did not retreat. Instead, they analyzed the enemy's formation and found weaknesses. Human engineers quickly modified drones and small ships to act in new ways. Some drones could jam enemy sensors. Small ships could move through narrow gaps in the formation that larger vessels could not follow. Humans used clever strategies instead of raw force. The first wave of attacks began. Alien weapons fired, but humans had predicted much of the attack. Drones blocked some weapons, while human ships dodged others using rapid, unpredictable movements. The coalition was surprised. "How are they responding so fast?" a Kravan commander shouted. "They are too young, but they anticipate our moves." Humans did not attack aggressively. They focused on defense and intelligence gathering. They recorded enemy patterns, identified weak points, and adapted in real time. When one of the coalition's ships tried to block a supply route, humans used small, fast ships to slip past and continue their mission. Captain Nira coordinated the defense from the bridge. She communicated with every pilot, every engineer, every crew member. Her voice was calm, clear, and confident. "Focus on the gaps, use your drones, protect each other. Move quickly and think ahead." By the end of the first day, humans had survived the attack and learned much about the enemy fleet. Their strategy had worked, but the coalition did not expect what came next. Humans launched a counter-strategy, not to destroy, but to outsmart. They used decoys, altered sensor signals, and created obstacles using the environment. The coalition fleet was forced to react to unexpected challenges, losing coordination and efficiency. Human crews anticipated every change, using creativity and teamwork to stay ahead. Alien observers were stunned. "They do not fight like anyone else," Vorel said, voice tense. "They do not use strength or numbers. They think, they adapt, they learn instantly. Our advantage is gone." The humans continued to push the enemy fleet back. Using small, precise actions, they protected their outpost, ensured supplies reached critical areas, and minimized any damage. The coalition realized they had underestimated humans, and their confidence began to falter. Captain Nira watched the battlefield unfold. Her crew worked without panic, adjusting and improvising at every moment. She knew that humans did not need the largest fleet or the strongest weapons. Their greatest power was their mind, their creativity, and their ability to trust each other. After several days, the coalition fleet withdrew. They had not been defeated by sheer force, but they had been outsmarted at every turn. Humans had demonstrated their ingenuity, resilience, and adaptability. The galaxy began to understand a truth it had ignored: humans could not be measured by traditional standards of strength or technology. On the neutral planet, aliens who had witnessed the events approached the humans. "Your people are remarkable," Thaler said. "You do not fight like anyone else. You do not rely on force alone, and yet you survive and protect what matters. We have much to learn from you." Captain Nira nodded. "We do not seek to harm. We act to understand, to protect, and to find solutions. That is who we are." Far across the galaxy, Kravans and other species began to worry. "They are not like any species we have faced," Iril said. "They think in ways we cannot predict. If they continue to grow, we may not have control over what comes next." Humanity had survived its first direct challenge from alien forces. They had proven that even against larger, more advanced enemies, intelligence, creativity, and cooperation could win the day. The galaxy had begun to notice. Humans were not ordinary. They were different, and they were ready for whatever came next. After the coalition fleet had withdrawn, humans continued their work with renewed determination. They had proven their abilities and survived the first direct challenge from older civilizations. Captain Nira knew that the galaxy was watching. The humans had to learn faster, adapt better, and always stay ahead. While exploring a distant mountain range on the neutral planet, a human team discovered something extraordinary. Hidden beneath layers of rock and soil were ruins unlike anything they had seen. They were enormous, made of materials that seemed almost alive, glowing faintly under the sunlight. Symbols and markings covered the walls, showing patterns and shapes that hinted at advanced knowledge. Rena, the scientist, knelt beside one of the markings. "These ruins are ancient," she said. "Much older than any civilization we have studied. Whoever built this new things we have only begun to understand." Captain Nira carefully observed the ruins. She realized that these structures could contain knowledge that might accelerate humanity's growth even further. "We must study them carefully," she said. "This is not just a discovery. It could change everything." The human team worked together to analyze the ruins. They did not destroy or remove anything. Instead, they used careful instruments to map the structures and record every detail. They discovered energy sources far more advanced than their own technology, as well as complex machinery that seemed to respond to thought and intention. As humans studied the ruins, news reached the Kravans and other civilizations. "They have found something," Iril said, tension in his voice. "Something older than any of us. Their growth will accelerate beyond anything we have predicted." Commander Vorel shook his head. "They are still young, yet they can now access knowledge that took other civilizations millennia to develop. We may have underestimated them entirely." Humans began experimenting with the ruins' technology. They approached it with caution and intelligence. Small drones were sent inside, mapping passageways and scanning the machinery. Engineers worked with scientists to understand the principles behind the energy systems. Every day, they learned something new. The technology allowed humans to improve their ships, their communication systems, and even their exploration methods. They could travel further, process information faster, and analyze alien systems in ways previously impossible. Humans were no longer just observers. They were becoming leaders in knowledge, not by conquest, but by understanding. On the neutral planet, aliens watched the humans with awe. "They are careful, yet their minds are quick," Thaler said. "They do not rush or destroy. They learn, adapt, and use knowledge in ways that benefit everyone. It is remarkable." Captain Nira stood with her crew on a high cliff, looking at the glowing ruins below. We must remember why we explore, she said. Knowledge is power, but it must be used with care. We seek understanding, not domination. We must show the galaxy what we can achieve without harm. As humans grew stronger, the Kravans grew more alarmed. They are young, yet their growth is exponential, Iril said. They are no longer just clever. They have access to technology older than the galaxy itself. If they continue, they will surpass every civilization in record time. Commander Vorel's voice was firm. We cannot underestimate them any longer. We must watch closely, learn their methods, and prepare for a future we cannot yet control. Humans did not see the tension they caused. They continued to explore, solve problems, and share knowledge with alien species. Their actions inspired hope and cooperation. Communities that had once been isolated began to exchange ideas and technology, building networks that improved life across the neutral planet. Captain Nira realized that this was the moment humanity would be remembered. They had survived challenges, adapted to threats, and now had access to ancient knowledge that could change their future. The galaxy was watching, some with hope, others with fear. Humans had the power to shape what came next, and they would do so with intelligence, respect, and courage. The stars above stretched endlessly. Humanity had reached a turning point. The ruins, the knowledge, and their own determination had set them on a path unlike any other species. They were no longer small and inexperienced. They were explorers, innovators, and protectors. And the galaxy, slowly realizing the change, could do nothing to stop the rise of humanity. Humanity had grown faster than anyone in the galaxy expected. The discovery of ancient ruins and the knowledge they contained had given humans a new perspective on technology, exploration, and problem-solving. Captain Nira and her crew had transformed their ships, systems, and methods, and they continued to expand their reach into the stars. The galaxy watched in awe and fear. Alien civilizations had underestimated humans for too long. Their rapid growth, combined with their unique ability to adapt and cooperate, made them a force unlike any other. The Kravans and their allies realized that humanity was no longer a species to be contained. They had passed every challenge, survived every attack, and now moved with confidence into new territories. On a distant planet, humans were studying an ancient energy field. They had learned to harness it for communication, transportation, and resource gathering. Rena, Merrick, and other scientists worked together with engineers and pilots, sharing ideas and improving systems faster than anyone had thought possible. Their teamwork was unmatched, their curiosity endless, and their respect for life unwavering. Captain Nira addressed her crew from the bridge. "We have come far," she said. "We have learned, adapted, and grown. But our journey is not about power. It is about understanding. We show the galaxy what can be done when intelligence, cooperation, and respect guide our actions. Remember that. Humanity is strong, but we are strong because we are united." Even as humans explored, the Kravans convened emergency meetings with other civilizations. "They are beyond prediction," Iril said. "They do not follow the rules of war, politics, or technology that we have known. They are creative, resourceful, and determined. We are seeing a new kind of species rise before our eyes." Vorel added, "We cannot stop them. Their growth is unstoppable, and our attempts to interfere have only shown their strength and ingenuity. The galaxy must adapt to their presence, not try to contain them." Humans had reached other systems, meeting new alien civilizations and sharing knowledge. Some species welcomed them with friendship. Others watched cautiously, unsure of what humans might do next. Everywhere humans went, they brought innovation, cooperation, and a sense of hope. They showed that growth did not require domination, that intelligence could be used for understanding instead of destruction. One day, humans discovered an enormous alien archive, older than any other civilization had known. Inside were records of civilizations long gone, technologies never seen, and lessons from species that had vanished. Humans studied carefully, learning the history of the galaxy and its failures, its triumphs, and its mysteries. Every discovery strengthened their knowledge, and every step forward inspired new ideas. Captain Nero realized the full impact of humanity's presence. They were no longer explorers in a small corner of the galaxy. They were becoming a model of intelligence, respect, and progress. Their actions could inspire other civilizations to work together, to solve problems, and to innovate. Humanity was a force that could shape the galaxy without fear or destruction. The Kravans, once worried and skeptical, now accepted the truth. They are the ancients in spirit, Iril said quietly. Not because of age, but because of what they do. They learn, adapt, and rise where others fail. They are not to be feared because they seek conflict. They are to be recognized because they show what is possible. Across the stars, alien civilizations began to adjust their expectations. Some reached out to humans for cooperation, eager to learn and share knowledge. Others kept distance, cautious of a species that moved so quickly and thought so differently. But none could deny humanity's impact. On the neutral planet, Captain Nera and her crew watched the skies. The stars were full of possibilities, each one a chance to learn, explore, and understand. Humanity had grown beyond its beginnings. They had survived attacks, solved impossible challenges, and learned from ancient knowledge. They had changed themselves and the galaxy around them. Nera spoke to her crew. The galaxy may fear us or admire us. Some may resist change, and some may follow our example. But we must remain true to ourselves. Our strength comes from our mind, our heart, and our unity. That is what makes humanity remarkable. As humans moved forward, the galaxy realized the truth. Humanity was not just another species. They were a civilization that could rise above fear, surpass expectations, and inspire others to do the same. They were the ancients in the making, and the galaxy had noticed too late to stop them. Humans had arrived not as conquerors, but as learners, thinkers, and innovators. They had proven that courage, intelligence, and cooperation could achieve what strength and tradition alone could not. The stars stretched endlessly before them, and for the first time, humanity understood that their journey was only beginning. The galaxy had panicked too late. Humanity had already shown its potential, and nothing could stop the rise of a species that combined intelligence, creativity, and respect for life in a way no civilization had ever seen.